Hello everyone and welcome to Merlin's Manor. Today I'm going to be demonstrating how to play Rogue Angels Legacy of the Burning Suns, which is a game that's coming to Kickstarter September 4th. So let's go ahead and we're going to start off with mission 1 here to show you how to play the game. This is kind of a tutorial mission, and even the rule book, at least in its current form, recommends that you read some of the rules as you progress through the first mission. And so we're going to go ahead and jump in here and begin by telling you the basic setup and going over basic how the game plays, and we'll jump in and play the mission. Now, the setup for each game is as simple as opening up this map book here to the appropriate page, which for mission 1 is map 001. You'll find in the corner here, populating the board with objects or enemies as shown in the campaign book. And before you start your first mission, you will pick a character from various dossiers that you have. And here are a couple of the dossiers right here. We have Zalia and Gia Yukani, which are the ones that I'm going to be playing with. They give you a little rundown about their background, as well as some things that will give you hints as to some of their strengths. And so you pick one of the characters there, and each character is going to have some starting cards that's going to represent actions that you can take throughout the game. You'll have some basic cards that are the same for everyone, and then you have your ones that are specific to your character. Now, you're playing solo. You will need to run at least 2 characters in order to play solo. The game does scale well from 2 to 4 characters by changing enemy count, as well as giving more turns to higher player counts, because every turn that a person takes, you're going to go down 1, even when you have extra players, and you're going to have extra things that you have to focus on as well. And we're going to be playing campaign game 1, which takes place, as I said, on map 001. And I'm going to start out, before we get into the rules, I'm going to read the introduction here. And so here's the campaign book. We're going to turn to page 1 here and read the introduction. For 1,000 years, the Galactic Assembly of Sovereign Civilizations has governed the Burning Suns by providing a forum for cooperation between the most advanced species of the galaxy. The longest peace in galactic history was achieved, a truly golden age of harmony and prosperity. Unfortunately, however well-intentioned their foundation, however principled its leaders, no civilization can endure forever. Eventually, inevitably, the assembly failed. War is now spreading like wildfire. Stifled by bureaucracy and paralyzed by insurrection, the assembly desperately tries to keep old grudges and new rivalries at bay. But unchecked greed, overweening pride, and perhaps something yet darker threaten to consume the galaxy. As the member civilizations draw their battle lines and stake their claims to stars and systems, lives and loyalties are torn asunder. From Eva Ariel to Panacea, from Nomius to Modius, people who have only ever known peace and privilege must reckon with the new, harsh truth that the galaxy isn't as safe a place as they believed. Beyond the Assembly's control, though an uncertain life, is business as usual. For the freelancers and free spirits of Brimstone Base, home of the Hellfire Pirates, risk is all in a day's existence. A little too close to the galaxy's incandescent heart, vexation is a toxic, superheated mess of a system, a perfect mess in which to disappear. Brimstone, buried deep beneath the sulphurous surface of Fury's Fall, is a lodestone for the disaffected, bounty hunters and runaways, thieves and smugglers, slaves and slavers, those for whom the suns don't shine. It's a dangerous place. Violence decides the pecking order. But someone always has a job for an enterprising mercenary, or a desperate one. And if your skill and luck hold, there's a lot of credit to be made, particularly now. War, after all, is good for business. So that is the introductory stuff. And let's go ahead and go over some of the rules and how things are played. First of all, here on the map, the red lines represent walls which you cannot move through, and they block line of sight. Now, there's some tiles that we're going to be putting on in just a moment that also have this red line. And when you put those on, they are also areas that you're not going to be able to move through. And so let's go ahead and go over some of the things that you can do on your turn. On your turn, you'll do 2 actions, and there are 3 different types of actions. The main action you'll be doing each turn is to play a card and resolve it. Some cards will simply do something, whether that's an attack or move or interact, while others will include the rolling of dice, which can strengthen the action by +1, as you see there. It can give you shield. It can give you an extra movement, or a movement even if you don't have movement on your original card. I can also give you a +2, or it can just give you straight up a shield there. And of course, if you see where it has this or this, you choose one or the other. And there's also a shield or a +1, you choose one or the other. Now, when you play a card, you're going to place it on your cooldown track on the number that's in the top left-hand corner. That's going to be its cooldown number. It means it's going to take that much time before you can get it back into your hand. Now, there's already a card in that space. Let's say there was a card here and I wanted to play a 2. I would have to actually move over to the next available place to the right. That makes it a little bit longer before it'll cool down. Now, if the card has a 0 in the corner, such as your basic movement and your basic interaction do, you can go ahead and you play that card, resolve it, and you go ahead and take it right back to your hand. The cards also have boosts that you can activate using tokens later on in the game. If you see these different colored things, you can use a token of that color to be able to boost your action, but that's not going to become relevant until about mission 3. But just going to let you know that is something. I'll talk a bit more about that at the end of the game. It's something you can do as you develop your character's personality. Now, moving along the board can be done orthogonally, like this, or it can be done diagonally, like that, and you can move diagonally through a doorway as one movement like that. And you move the number of squares that are on the card plus whatever you rolled on your dice. Some cards give melee attacks, which work from one space away, where others will have a range on them. Some allow for attacking multiple people in a single attack. And then you've got some cards that are used for interacting with objects such as doors or computer consoles, which have to be hacked into. The mechanism for doing this is drawing out what are going to be tiles of various colors from this bag here. Right now, since this is a prototype, we just have these right here, but they're going to be actual tiles later on. You're trying to get 3 of the same color. You draw out tokens up to the number of your interact action, which says interact with 2 objects for 2 within range 2. And so this number 2 right here in the brackets means you're going to pull 2 from the bag. But this number right here says you're going to roll 1 die. And so you could roll a die right here. And this actually gave me a +1. If I choose to use it for that, I could actually use 2 + 1 is 3 tokens I could potentially pull out of the bag. Or I could choose to pull 2 and have a movement. So that is how the interact works. You're going to be trying to pull 3 of the same color, and you're drawing them out 1 at a time. And you can stop drawing at any time and place all the tokens of the same color by the object that you are trying to hack. And in later turns, you can get that up to 3 of that color. Now, white tokens are considered wilds. They can be used as any color, but if you draw 2 of them on the same turn, then all the tokens that you drew and that all the ones that are even on that object from previous turns go back into the bag. Thus, once you draw out 1 white, you might just want to stop unless you are feeling lucky. Any tokens that are not kept go back to the bag, and you can only choose to keep 1 color, plus if you had a white drawn, you can keep that 1 white. Once you have 3 of the same color, then you have successfully hacked the object and can remove it from the board. Any tokens used to hack remain outside of the bag for the remainder of the game. The other actions that you can take on your turn are concentrate, which increases your focus by 2. And focus is on this meter right here. You're going to start full of focus and full of shield. And you use your focus to re-roll dice. Or you can rest, which means you move all of these down 1 on your cooldown track, allowing you to get cards back into your hand faster. Now, after you have taken your 2 actions, you will then end your turn with a free rest action, and any cards that come off will go back into your hand. Then you will flip your activation token, showing that you have taken your turn for this round, since characters will take their turns in any order they choose to take them. And then once everybody's gotten theirs flipped, you can all kind of begin a new activation sequence. And then you're going to decrease the turn marker by 1. You will have a limited amount of turns to complete each section of a mission, or else you will fail the mission. You have to restart, or something bad will happen until you complete that segment, depending on the mission, what it says. Then you check the mission status and update the mission if you have completed that segment. If you have not, then you move on to the enemy's turn. And enemies either have red bases or yellow bases, and they'll activate every other turn based on the color of their base, starting with the red. Unless there's only one color in play, and then they will activate every turn. And you will flip their card, that is their activation card here, at the beginning of the turn, so you won't be able to see what's going to happen. Of course, once you've seen it once, you're going to basically know what's going to happen on the next turn. The first space on the card here tells you what the first initiative person is going to do. The second space is going to tell you what the second initiative enemy is going to do. And then sometimes there will be an extra trigger up here, and you'll have an exclamation mark down here that if the trigger happens, you'll read this, potentially doing this instead, or possibly doing this in addition to their normal activation. And so you're going to check that before you start activating those. When you are attacked, you will decrease your shield by the amount of the attack of the enemy. And if you run out, then you're going to be taking damage cards. And so any damage that is not blocked by shield, you're going to take this damage card, and let's just go ahead and use this one over here to show us what's going to happen. You're going to place it wherever this top left number tells you to place it, just like with your regular action cards there. These are going to have something that may happen when you draw the card in addition to placing it on that number, and you're going to follow those in order. And if you're playing on hard, you might have an ongoing effect. And if you're playing on sane, you may also have a when discarded effect, and you apply all of those at the appropriate times. And so that will go right there. If there happened to be a card already there as an action card, then you would place that there and take that action card immediately back to your hand. Now, if there had already been a damage card here, then you would go ahead and move it to the next one. If there's a damage card there, you'd have to move it to the next one over. And so wounds can really kind of get out of hand if you let them, and they can clog up your cooldown track here so that you won't be able to play cards. So let's say we had a few different wounds out here. I'm just going to kind of throw these in here like this. The only place I can place is over here at the 4. And so that could be very problematic. Whatever I place is going to have to go there. Let's say we were in this situation. I wouldn't be able to place anything higher than a 1 unless I first did a rest action to move them down. And so that's something that you want to keep in mind as you start getting those damage done to you. It makes it harder to get your cards played out and making you have to rest more often. Now, if you ever have to draw a damage card and you are unable to place it because you already have 4 damage, then you become unconscious, and you will remain unconscious unless a teammate is able to revive you with a card from their hand. You will no longer rest, and so all of your damage cards will remain in place. Play continues until you have completed a mission segment or all players are unconscious, at which point you would generally lose. And so that is the basic how to play this game. We are going to go ahead and jump into mission number 1. And I'm going to go ahead and skip a lot of the reading here that leads up to the mission. One thing I am going to point out is the mission brief update number 1. Every player must put aside all of their cards with a weapon classification. So Zalia is like, oh, I got a weapon there and a weapon there. Oh, and don't forget this weapon here, because Zalia has lots of weapons. Whereas over here, check this earlier, and Gia only had 1 weapon. And so we're going to place that out of play as well for the moment. And then if we had any Neomorph or Champion players, they would also have to set aside gear cards for now. Let's go ahead and move on to the next page here. And we got a little bit more text leading up to what's going to happen. And now let's go ahead and set up for mission 1. We have this layout here for map 001. We have 3 blocked entrances that we're going to be putting out. And if you notice, you got green squares around everything you're going to be adding to the board. Later on, we're going to see red highlights around for everything we're taking off the board. And so let's go ahead, and we're going to put, already placed one there. We got one going there. and we have one going in there. So we got those 3 blocked entrances, and we're also adding 1 point of interest. Our team is going to start here. Oh, and at the beginning of each mission, we choose a commander who is going to sometimes have something tied to them as far as a mission goal. But they're also ones who's going to break ties whenever there's a vote that can't be agreed upon. And so we're going to make Gia the commander for this game. And it says here that we have a turn limit of 3 for a 2-player game. Were we playing with 3 characters, it would be 4, and 4 characters would be 5. And so we're going to set this to 3 here. And we have 3 turns in order to get the commander adjacent to the point of interest. And so let's go ahead and begin. Make sure everything is set to where it belongs. We have this is going to help us to keep track of our sequence of actions and through our turn here. So I'm going to start out with the commander. And the commander is going to play this basic move card. I'm going to roll 1 dice. And so she has a +1 or a shield. We'll take the +1, 1, 2. And then I'm going to do the basic move again. And she's got a +2. I only needed the 1 there. Boom, that comes back to the hand again. That is the end of Gia's turn. She is adjacent to the point of interest. But let's go through the actions here. So we're going to end with a free rest turn. There's no resting needed here. We're going to flip the activation token, showing that we have taken our turn this time around. And then we're going to decrease the token by 1. Then we do the mission check. We have indeed succeeded in the first part of the mission. So we turn to mission update number 1. We're going to remove 1 block entrance, this red highlighted one here, and we're going to replace it with a door represented by the green square there. And we're also going to put a console out right there in that corner. And we're also going to be removing the point of interest. And then Embracia says, "Good to see you in person, Commander. My agent promised me a competent team, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. When I arrived, these Hellfire thugs confiscated my ship and equipment, and I now see they're doing it to everyone. Perhaps they're running low on resources. In any case, I'm not interested in their petty problems. If they want to steal my ship, it'll be over my dead body, or more precisely, over a lot of other dead bodies. Get into their enclave and hack their console so that you'll be able to retrieve our stuff, and don't let anyone get in your way." So we're going to need to open the door, and we're going to need to disable the console. And we're going to have 6 turns in order to do that. So move this up to 6. And now it's going to be Zalia's turn. So what does Zalia want to do? Wants to head over to this door, of course. Let's go ahead and use dodge and bolt. And allow me to roll 3 dice. And we got lots of movement. That's good. We've got 1, 2, 3 movement plus, actually that's all because that one doesn't come with movement. This one actually starts with 0 squares, move 0 squares. It relies on me to roll either +1s or 2s or the move symbols. We got 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. And I could get a shield or another movement, but I don't need either of those. So we'll leave it at that. And then for my second action, I'm going to do a basic. Now I'm going to do the decipher device. Interact with an adjacent object for 0, but I get to roll 2 dice. It goes in the 1 spot. Let's hope that we get a bunch of pluses. We get 1 plus. I'm going to spend to re-roll this, and I get a shield. So I get to draw 1 chip out of the bag. She's not the best hacker. Okay, so we take our free rest action. Those go down. Flip that. Decrease by 1. And there's no enemies, so we don't do that. No mission, so we didn't do that. Now we get to flip both of these, and either person can go next. I'm going to have this person go next to try to just open up for somebody, for her to get there maybe. Let's go ahead and do the basic interact. You get to roll 1 die. Shield, let's go ahead and re-roll 2 movement. Okay, so we're pulling 1 out. It's a yellow. I'm just going to toss that back in there. Let's go ahead and do this one again. I'm having the worst luck with rolling. Roll 2 dice. I'm just going to spend both of these to roll them again. Okay, I get 2 interacts this time. Need to pull out reds and or whites. Well, not 2 whites though. Got 1 and 2. Okay, we're going to keep that. We're getting there slowly but surely. So flip that. I'll take the free rest action first. So actually these were like this and they... Oh no, that was there. That moves off. Okay. That's going to be on the 1 now. And then decrease the turn. Gia. Going to do her big move here. She's going to move 3 and roll 1 die. Plus 1. So 1, 2, 3, plus 1 is there. And then she has some good hacking ability, but yeah, I better go ahead and do the good hacking. So she gets to take out 2 and she rolls a die. So she gets to do 3. I want to use 1 red or a white. Ah, got it in the first try. I should have done just single interact. Okay, those go away. Door is open now. And then we are going to, with her next action, do a movement of some sort. Let's just do a basic move. Plus 1, 1, 2. So she's next to it at least. Because adjacent can be even diagonal from it. So we're going to do a rest action. Turn marker is going to go down 1. And of course flipping that. But then these come back over because we are next persons. And then we got to figure out, I guess we do the basic interact. Which means we're going to roll 1 die. And we're going to do a re-roll. That didn't help me. So we get to pull 1 thing out. There's a yellow. And then I'm going to do a rest for the second action just so that that's going to come back with a free rest. So flip, turn. We are going to do this dodgy action right here. Means I'm going to roll 3 dice. And we got all the moves we want, really. 1, 2 for adjacent. Wish that had been a roll for interact earlier. Now I'm going to do a basic interact for the second move here. Means I'm going to do 1 plus whatever this dice tells me. It's plus 1, so I'm going to get to draw 2 out. Hoping for a yellow and a white, or 2 yellows. You got 1 yellow. Yellow or white. Yellow or white. Yay, got a white. That's a wild. And so we have hacked the console. Remove it from the board. And we see what happens. Well, first we have to finish out the turn. We get the rest action there. Flip that. That comes down to 1. And what do we have? So it says every player gets all of their weapon and gear cards back. So Weapon cards for Zalia. Weapon card for Gia. Ambracia says their security system is compromised. I have access to their vault and my ship. I'll pick up my crew members in the bar area and meet you on board my ship. It seems like the Hellfires have been alerted to your presence, but I assume that you're capable of dealing with such trifles. Who are you? What are you doing in a restricted area? Do you not understand the rules you were given? I guess I'll have to get my guards to give you a little reminder. We have turn limit of 5, and it's going to be eliminating all enemies. And we're going to put enemies, we're going to put thugs on Y1 and Y2. And we got R1 for a guard, is going to go right here. So we see R1, Y1, and Y2. And we're also going to be putting into play the apprehensive attack card. I'm just going to put it right there. Success is eliminating all enemies before turn 0. Zalia and Gia have both gone this round, so we can flip both of theirs. And enemies are going to activate immediately. And I'm going to put these down so you can see their stats and what's going on. I may have to flip them up at times. And I'll even put these down so you can see them for now. Well, they might get in the way for playing purposes, but for video purposes, that will be helpful, I'm sure. And so let's go ahead and we are going to do their attack. And the way this works is the number 1 initiative, which is all we have for reds right now, is going to move towards the nearest player. He has a movement of 3. His attack is 2. He has 1 shield, 4 health, and a range of 1. So he's going to want to be adjacent to somebody in order to attack them. He's going to be right here. So he has a movement of 3. 1, 2 is all he needs to get to the nearest player. And he's going to attack the nearest player. So let's go ahead and do that. He attacks for 2 on Gia. 1, 2. Oh, wrong thing. 1, 2. Has no shield now, but that blocked everything for now. And now we're going to go ahead and probably go with Gia, since she is right there. Actually, no. I'm going to go with Zalia first, because Zalia has the better attack here for the situation. And so I'm going to use Zealous Claymore if I can get over there. And I should be able to get over there in 1. Yeah, all I need is 1 movement to get there. So I'm going to do a basic move. I get to roll a die. Gets me a shield, which isn't helpful in the moment. I'm going to put these like this so I can just move here like that. I'm adjacent because diagonal is considered adjacent here. So now I'm going to use the Zealous Claymore, which is a 4, and it deals 4 unbreakable or unblockable damage to an adjacent enemy. So that little shield with the slash through it is unblockable damage. So I do 4 straight up. He has a shield of 1, which we ignore, and he's dead because I did 4 damage to him. That was my 2 actions. We will take the free rest action. That card comes back. And then we go ahead and move into cleanup here. That goes there. That goes there. Mission check, not applicable right now. Enemy turn. We flip this card at the beginning of their turn. And since there's yellows on the board, it's just going to stay on this side until more enemies come out. So we got the nearest player is going to be the target of the first initiative 1, which is the one that's right here. Initiative 1. He has a movement of, well, he's going to be attacking the nearest player. There's nobody within his range right now, I don't think. Let me turn this. 1, 2. There's a wall there, so yeah, they can't attack. So he's just going to move towards the last activated player, which is also the nearest player right now, which is Zalia, to where he can get within range to fire. 1, 2, 3, so he actually has line of sight there. So he used his full movement. Oh, actually, he can't move like that. 1, 2, 3, like that. And actually, I think he still has line of sight there now. So the nearest player goes to the last activated player, and then on number 2, he's going to move towards the nearest player. 1, 2 would be the closest way he can get line of sight on the nearest player. And then going to attack the nearest player. So it has a range of 4, doesn't need it because he's right near. Does 1 damage, so he's going to go boom like that. 1 to the shield. And now I have them right where I want them if I were Zalia right now. But let's see what Gia can do. Gia can... Actually, no, Gia's got a really good attack for this moment, I think. She's going to try to do Blade Fury. She's going to go in the number 3 spot. And she is going to... Actually, no. I'm going to, instead of doing that first, I'm going to move first. To make it more effective. Do a basic move. And she can move up to 3, but she only needs the 1 movement. Because she's going to play Blade Fury, which is deal 1 damage to an adjacent enemy. So we take one of these little damage tokens here to the nearest enemy. And then, but we're rolling the dice first. We're rolling 4 dice. And for each movement, I can go ahead and, in fact, I'm going to go ahead, I need the shield. And +1, I don't think that does any good for this, so I'm going to re-roll the +1 here. And I got 2 movement. This is going to be crazy, because for each movement I spend, I can repeat this action. I can do the damage. So the way this is going to work is I move here for 1 movement, and I do a damage to this person. I move here for 1 movement. I do a damage to this person. I move here for the other one from this dice. I do a damage to this person. That person's dead. And I got 2 more movements left. I'm going to go boom and boom, doing damage and damage. Boom. Just like that. That is a deadly attack. And then we take our rest action. We flip that token. And that comes down by 1. We check for mission. Check, and we do have success because we eliminated all enemies. So we will turn the page. We are going to remove the 2 blocked entrances. We're going to place 1 door right here. We're going to place a console right here. We're going to place the ship tile. Let's get these things out of the way. Let's stand that up. I put the ship tile right here. And see if we can move this down to a line. It's right here. My tripod's slightly in the way for putting that up there. And then we're going to put out one of these guys. R1 is going to go here. R2 is going to go there. We got Y2 going to be there. And Y1 is going to be there. I'll leave that console down so we can see it as well. So we see the red outline for these means they're going away. Green outlines mean all those things are coming in. Oh, and players may move up to 5 squares from their current spot. Is this white here? We missed that in our first playthrough. And then we're putting out disorganized attack instead of apprehensive attack. So this one goes away. Out comes disorganized attack. I'll put it right here where I can see it better. Okay, so we can move up to 5 spaces. Oh, so we're ready for takeoff from Hangar 17. Unfortunately, we have a situation here, as the Hellfires have locked the gangway door and placed our ship on a tractor beam. We won't be going anywhere unless you can dispose of the pirates or disable the tractor beam from the control room. How you deal with it is up to you. Okay, for better or worse, you now have my full attention. You won't be going anywhere when I'm through with you. You'll be an example for everyone to see of why you don't mess with the Hellfires. Turn limit is going to be 9. And then we can either, there's 2 ways of success here. We can open the door right here, disable the console, and get all players on board the ship. Or we can eliminate all enemies. So, first of all, I'm going to move 5 with each person. And I'm going to try to do the more peaceful route. Right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Red is going to start us out. And they are going to move to the nearest player. The first one will, which is this guy. He has a movement of 3. 1, 2, 3. He's not within range to attack, so he will not attack the nearest player. And then second one will go towards the nearest, is going to attack the nearest player and then move towards the nearest player. 1, 2, wait, can't go that way. 1, 2, 3, like that. I'm just going to put that like that so it's not in the way. Okay, so we're going to try and hack our way out of here rather than fight our way out. So both of these are getting flipped back over. I feel like Zalia should get us started. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and attack first. Putting that in the 3, I'm going to deal 3 damage to this guy because deal X damage to enemy within 5. Place this card on the slot matching the X. 1, 2, 3, 4. So took that guy out because he only had 3 health. And then for my second action, I am going to do this big move, but put it way up there. What do I do? A basic move. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm going to do the big move. So it has to go all the way on the 4 because the 2 space and the 3 space are blocked. Oh, I should have put that one there, and then that one at least would have been there. Anyway, so I get to move 3 and roll 1 die. Okay, I get a shield. That might be helpful. 1, 2, yeah, 3 is all the movement I needed. So 1, 2, 3 to there. And then free rest action. Flip the activation token. Decrease that. And then we're going to activate the yellows because we have not completed the mission. So we flip this card. And if the activated enemy was damaged the last player turn, we would use this instead, but they're not. Nearest player is going to be this person. They're going to attack. They have range right where they are. So they will do the attack for 1. Dings the shield. And then they're going to move towards the last activated player, which is that person. They're already where they need to be, so they won't move. They'll only move to get within range. Already in range. So, boom. That's the end of yellow player's turn because the other one passed away, unfortunately. Or should I say fortunately. Okay, so now it's Zalia's turn. And Zalia's probably going to try and come over here and start hacking the door, if at all possible. So, let's do Zalia's usually best move. It's a 0 move, but roll 3 dice. Okay, so I got basically a +3 for my movement. 1, 2, right, 3. Didn't quite get there yet. I'm just going to use a basic movement. Extra move. They really need that much extra move, but boom. And that's the end of Zalia's turn. Rest, flip, move. Now the reds are going to activate. Flipping the red card. They are going to move. First one is going to try to move to me. Wait, actually, I'm the nearest player. 1, 2, 3, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wait. 1, 2, 3. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that one's still the top. Gonna have to go around this person though. 1, 2, 3. And then can't attack because there's nobody adjacent. By the way, these ones also have, if they were activated enemy was damaged, they'll do something down here. And then this one's going to go 1, 2, 3 like that. They're slowly chasing us down. Okay, so we redo these. I'm going to start with Gia Yukani. I'm going to have her do a basic interact. Roll the die. Got a +1, so she gets to draw 2 out. Got a white chip first thing. Oh my. I'm going to go chance it though. And a purple. White and purple. So that was a basic interact. Let's go ahead and do the basic interact again. We got a, oh, I got to roll a dice first. +1. So we got a yellow and a red. We've got every color. Well, yellow and red have come out before already in the game, so I'm going to keep that purple. Put these ones back. So free rest action. Now yellow is going to activate. Going to do 1 damage to the nearest player and then move towards the last activated player, so it's going to stay there. And then Zalia's turn. Zalia is going to use basic interact. +1, so that's going to be 2. Got a red. And a red. What are the odds? Okay. And for my second trick, we'll do that again. I'm going to spend, re-roll. Got a +1, so I get to draw 2. Got a yellow. And a purple. I gotta stick with the reds, right? Okay. Gonna be the death of us. Free rest action. Flip. Oh, that should have been flipped. And then 1 on the turn. Those come back up and for a moment. Enemy is going to do red now. Still haven't been attacked, so 1 is going to do its basic. 1. Oh wait, let's figure out the nearest. Nearest should be still the same. 2, 3. Still not close enough. 1, 2, 3. Still not quite close enough. They're 1 space away. Now, it's interesting to note that if they're attacked, they'll move as far away as possible from the player who damaged the enemy by using any route, entrance, or wall cover available. That's something to think about at least. Okay, I'm going to have Gia try and hack. She's going to do this one because it lets her do a 2 draw. And roll the die. +1, she gets to draw up to 3. The way I'm drawing, it could need all 3. 1. Oh, got it on the second. So this one has been hacked. 1/3 of our goal is down. And then, what's she going to do for her second action? Yellows are about to activate. I'll have her do Fury Blade. I'm going to go in the 4 slot. So we're going to attack for 1 here. Then, oh, first of all, we roll the 4 dice. Attack for 1, and then we have lots of movement. Really what I wanted. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to have her stop there. So we flip. Now, if the activated enemy was damaged, last player turn, use that instead. So we're going to move as far away as possible from the nearest player by using any route, entrance, or wall cover available. So basically, it's just going to retreat back into this corner. That's humorous. Because going that way would just get it closer. Okay. That was, Gia's turn. Did I move the marker down? I can't remember. I'm going to move it down just in case. Zalia is going to hack the door using the basic interact, because why not? It's a +1. Means you can draw out 2 things. It's a yellow, a red, or a white, and a purple. I'm going to do 2 damage to this guy. Means he's going to take 1 damage. It goes here. So he blocks at 1 with his shield. And now we flip that, move that, and free rest action. Okay, so flipping this to the red side. If the activated enemy was damaged who's going first? One's going first. He's going to move towards the nearest player, which is that one. I think. 1, 2. You might have to stand these guys up at this point. Stand everybody up for a moment so we can deal with the situation here. Okay. So you're going to attack the nearest player, which is going to be that one. Technically both just as near. But we're going to go with she forgot to do her free rest action. Okay. So attacking for 2 has no shield, so both of them are going to come in here. Going to the 2 spot. And losing 1 focus. When drawn, lose 1 focus, then place it on the 2. And then for the second one is a 0. Move one of those cards to the right. And then discard the card. Gotta love those zeros. And then number 2, because they were attacked this turn, is going to move as far away as possible from the player who damaged this enemy by using any route, entrance, or wall cover available. So he's going to move 1, 2, 3. Running away. Which is why I attacked him. So these both get flipped. Zalia is going to try to hack. Interacting with 2 objects. Oh, can't go there because of the concussion. It's going to go there. Interact with 2 objects. I'm going to roll 1 dice. Where's this out on the board? I don't even know why that was out on the board. Okay, she rolled a +1, so she has 3 draws. 1 red or 1 white. Purple. Purple. Yellow. Well, that wasn't any good. All those go back in. So we're going to do this one. Roll dice first. We don't need movement. I guess we'll take the shield. Drawing 1. Come on, be a red, be a red. Yellow. This is where we lose the mission, right here. Okay. Free rest action. With the activation token. Decrease by 1. Okay, so flipping this card. Yellow is going to be going after the nearest player. Get it within range 4. So 1, 2, 3. All he has to do is move 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Has the range. Gonna attack the last activated player, which is the same person. For 1. That shield came in handy. Now Zalia is going to try and do the best here. Do basic interact. Roll 1 die. It's a +1, so it's going to be 2. One. 2. Can't do it. Oh, that was only 1 though. So let's do the basic action again. Yellow. Oh, gotta roll a die. Roll a die. +2. So I get to draw 3 this time at least. There we go. Got it. So we got 3 now. That's been hacked. Yellow goes back in the bag. Not that it matters at this point in the game. Door is down. Bad thing is, though, it's not this person's turn anymore. Rest action. Reds are going to go. That comes down 1. It gets flipped. And then the reds are going to attack the nearest player, or move to the nearest player, then attack for the first one. And so attacks for 2. She has no shield. Draw 1. Goes on the 1 point. That's all it does. When drawn, move an action card 1 to the right. Discard. These both get restarted here. Move. Shield, I guess. He's moving 3. Right into there. And then I take a free rest action. Just because. And then I'm going to take a rest action and then take a free rest action. Boom. Boom. And then yellow is going to attack. Going to attack the nearest player. Doesn't have range actually. And move to the nearest player. All I have to do is a basic movement. Oh, actually, she should have moved 1 extra. 1, 2. He had the movement. Or for that matter, I could have done the one that allows me to move past people. Which allows me to roll 2 other dice. If she had been there, I still could have moved past her. So boom. We escaped. We would normally go ahead and read at this point update number 4A, because we completed the first one here. We got all players aboard the ship after opening the door and disabling the console. However, because this is spoiler material, I'm going to go ahead and leave that for you to discover on your own, because there's going to be different things that happen based on which one of those you accomplished. So that is how you play Rogue Angels, Legacy of the Burning Suns. I hope you've enjoyed this playthrough of the tutorial kind of mission here, the first mission. If I made any rules mistakes, I'll be sure to update that in the description as I find out about it. Some of the harder things to discover that didn't quite come up in this playthrough. I sometimes have trouble with the range when it comes to diagonals, because it's got kind of a funky kind of way you measure the diagonal kind of range. That didn't really come up here as much. I don't think it came up at all in this game. That is one of those things that kind of tricky, as well as when you can or cannot see around the corners for line of sight. Like if somebody is here and here, do they have line of sight from the middle to any part? I think they do in that situation. But there are a few kind of cases sometimes where I have trouble telling, okay, does that wall block it or not? And so just keep that in mind. But really enjoy this game, and this is kind of a very basic level, just to kind of introduce you to how the game plays. I might go ahead and do mission 3 because it's going to introduce this side of the board. Really, until you get through mission 2, you don't have any tokens to gain for this. But once you get to mission 3, you're generally going to have things for these. What you're going to do is you're going to fill in whichever one you have. It tells you to fill in, and however many bars you have filled in on that, you're going to get that many tokens to start a new game. And so every game you'll be getting, if you had 2 of these, you get 2 every game, and so on and so forth. When we actually finished round 2, we each had 1 yellow and 1 red. When we did my wife and I did our original playthrough of this, and so I might go ahead and show that if I get around to it. I also encourage you to check out my preview of this game that recently went up. As always, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hit that like button if you did, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and I will catch you in the next one.